Okay, so I am very annoyed right now. And before anyone says anything, I am not a Cowboys fan. I am an ardent supporter of the Seahawks. I've been a Seahawks fan for many years. I've been reading the team's history all the way back since their inception. So, no, I am a Seahawks fan. But I am also a supporter of the men's rights movement. And this is very annoying because you have videos like these that says NFL released Ezekiel Elliott's abuse case findings. Ezekiel will appeal his suspension. Here's the thing is, they've presented no evidence really. Aside from pictures, which has been disputed many times, and you have eyewitnesses who have said that Ezekiel Elliott's ex-girlfriend, who goes by the name of Tiffany, got into a fight with another woman, and that's where the bruises came from. Not to mention, the photos she took were on 3 different occasions. One occasion, an occasion the next day, and I think the day after that. Either way, all 3 photos were taken at different times, in which people were wondering if you were being abused and supposedly called 911, why would you make those, why would you go back constantly to those pictures? And I know there's going to be feminists out there who are going to say that, well, when you're in an abusive relationship, you're going to go back. No. That's, I'm sorry, I'm going to call BS on that. Secondly, there's also witnesses say that she threatened him, saying that she would ruin his career if they broke up. And not to mention, this incident happened after he was signed by the Cowboys and basically going to be making millions of dollars as a first round draft choice. So again, there's another bit of evidence that suggests that he may be innocent. Either way, 2 separate police departments acquitted him, saying there was no evidence. But of course, in our modern day feminist society, you're guilty until proven innocent. I know it's very disgusting, but this is the world we live in. So yeah, and I'm very pissed. So anyway, I'm going to react to this video in all of its bullshit.
Amounting to 6 games not played nor paid. So the NFL's findings detailed 3 separate incidents between Elliott and the former girlfriend Tiffany Thompson.
3 separate incidents, and you add no real substantial evidence, of course, just the 3 separate incidents, because yeah, his girlfriend came back to get abused or something like that. Just bullshit.
July 17, 2016, the NFL statement says Elliott used physical force against Thompson at a Columbus apartment.
A statement that Elliott used physical force. Again, where is the evidence and the witnesses to say that he did? Where is the evidence? Seriously? Are you going to basically say that her testimony is enough evidence to say that he did? Okay. I'm generally I am shocked that we are going back to the Salem witch trial era, where a person accusing someone is evidence enough of guilt. Okay.
2 days later, Thompson left the same apartment with more injuries. Then on July 21, a third altercation allegedly left Thompson with injuries to her face, neck, arms, and hips.
Allegedly. Again, allegedly, as in not exactly proven to be true. So again, you're not offering enough evidence to prove that this is true, and you're still treating it like this is a total fact, despite the fact that there are plenty of evidence to suggest otherwise.
A Columbus City prosecutor who handled the investigation originally also said, quote, "We never concluded that Thompson was lying to us," end quote, and went on to say, quoting here, "We generally believed her for all of the incidents."
Yeah, generally believed her for all the incidents, and yet you didn't have enough evidence. And despite the fact that there are incidents where there are evidence coming out that she was lying. Yeah, we can tell that someone's being biased. We know when someone's basically being a misandrist and a pro-feminazi fascist.
But the case was not pursued. Peter Harvey, a former attorney general for the state of New Jersey, and one of the 4 independent advisors the league used to help render the decision, had this to say.
There is an eyewitness here. The eyewitness is Tiffany Thompson herself. She is a victim and a survivor. She took photos of her injuries. They were taken the same day as Ms. Thompson alleged she was injured by Mr. Elliott.
Okay. There are 2 things I find really wrong with that. Number one, the accuser the accuser or the supposed victim, I'm gonna put emphasis on the word supposed, is not allowed. Is not allowed to also be the witness in this case. That's bullshit. That is bullshit. If I claim that I was beat up by this random person, give myself bruises, by this logic, I now a witness, and ergo, my testimony means I was telling the truth. Again, this is bullshit on so many levels, and this perfectly shows everything wrong with our system right now. We are in a terrible system that has been bastardized and ruined by political correctness, and it is freaking disgusting.
We also examined the arguments made by Mr. Elliott's representatives, and the arguments seem to be theoretical.
Despite the fact that there are multiple people who claim that she is lying. Her friend made a statement saying that she planned to use all this stuff to accuse him and basically ruin his NFL career. Yeah, basically the accuser doesn't get any defense, doesn't get to rely on evidence to prove his innocence. It's only the victim or supposed victim. Yeah, good job. Good job of showing how terrible our justice system is.
They did not seem to be supported by any witness, any document, any other substantive evidence.
Then why are so many people talking about it? There is evidence to suggest that her testimony is not true. So what are you talking about? Of course, because it's domestic violence, all evidence doesn't matter. You're going to cherry pick evidence that supports your claims.
As I evaluated the information, I came to the conclusion that physical force was used by Mr. Elliott against Ms. Thompson. It caused her injury, and that it violated, in my view, the personal conduct policy. But again, I just gave...
Yeah, in your view, yeah, you're just going to ignore the evidence that suggests otherwise from other witnesses, and yeah, you're just going to say, oh, you think he did. Bullshit. More bullshit.
Gave my own opinion to the commissioner. He was free to make whatever decision he thought appropriate. It was also not lost on me that the Columbus District Attorney, while not bringing any charges against Mr. Elliott, nonetheless said to NFL investigators that he believed Ms. Thompson.
Now, on the other side of it, Elliott's attorneys Frank Salzano and Scott Rosenblum released this statement today, quoting all the way, the NFL's findings are replete with factual inaccuracies and erroneous conclusion, and it cherry-picks so-called evidence to support its conclusion while ignoring other critical evidence.
Which is totally true, and it should be brought up. I don't know why people are going along with this witch hunt and bullshit. This is disgusting. Again, why exactly is looking at all the evidence a taboo now? Seriously, are we now going to treat all forms of domestic abuse case that someone claims domestic abuse, they're immediately proven to be true, and regardless of evidence? Again, we are supposed to be in a society where all law is determined by evidence, as in a person is proven guilty through the compiling of evidence and investigation. That's how our society is supposed to work. You can't live in a free and good society if an accusation is enough for a conviction, especially when certain groups are given special treatment over others. That is sick and disgusting. This is just stupid.
During the upcoming weeks and through the appeal, a slew of additional credible and controverting evidence will come to light.
Which it probably will come to light. It is coming to light, actually. A bunch of fans are basically showing all these different these evidence that is contrary to what the NFL has been trying to put forth in all these sports media. This is yet another example of how everyday citizens who are not professionals are the ones who have to do all the investigation, while these rich media hacks are basically using this to peddle bullshit and stuff. It's disgusting. I don't understand why it is that we, the ordinary citizens, have to basically take it upon ourselves to investigate this matter while these idiots promote, bad evidence, not compiling the entire story, and cucks like Shannon Sharp, who is basically going on national television, basically saying, oh, his dad moving with him to, like, Ohio to go to college is not normal. Yeah, like, kind of like how parents allowing their kids to transition and become transgender before they hit puberty is fine or not normal. Yeah, if you're gonna talk about what's normal, you really have got to rethink your stances on things if you honestly are gonna use this bullshit. So yeah, Shannon Sharp, this is a shout out to you. You're full of shit at times, and you are definitely not telling it how it is because you are politically correct beta male. Yes, I know I'm going off on a tangent here, but I am really pissed at Shannon Sharp right now because everyone keeps talking about how he's always, telling it how it is. He's not telling it is. He's being a politically correct cuck. Anyway, let's move on with this bullshit.
The attorneys and Ezekiel Elliott intimating that an appeal is about to be filed. We bring in Adam Schefter now, who broke the story originally. Adam, take us through what's going to happen next. It could be a long fight, right?
Kenny, there is going to be an appeal that's filed, and Ezekiel Elliott has 3 business days, which essentially means until about Tuesday, to file the notice of that appeal. Once he does that, the NFL has 10 days to make a ruling date for that appeal. So essentially, we could be looking at an appeal at some point towards the end of August, but I think all sides are expecting a decision by early September because September 2nd is the date that Ezekiel Elliott is going to have to be out of the building. And for the NFL to reduce this suspension in any way, shape, or form, Ezekiel Elliott and his attorneys are going to have to bring new evidence to this particular case. You wonder what they can come up with in the next couple of weeks that's going to be any different than the evidence that they have presented to the league over the course of the last year that wound up with Ezekiel Elliott getting that 6-game suspension on Friday.
Yeah, they're probably going to present the evidence that a bunch of people have been showing online that the NFL media has not been showing because they want to sell their bullshit narrative as usual. This is not the NFL suddenly caring about this stuff. If sports really did care about this stuff, we'd be talking about all the incidents of abuses that happen in women's sports, but we're not. This is just the NFL trying to save its face after the whole Ray Rice incident. And as everyone points this out, Josh Brown received 1-game suspension. Ray Rice received 2-game suspension despite the fact there was actual video evidence of him punching her. Again, this is ridiculous. Again, this is just another example of how our court systems and how our society as a whole is treating men who are accused by women. This is disgusting. The words used in this whole story is a clear example of misandry and female bias. It's just totally biased, and it's disgusting. And I think any person who believes in men's rights should be disgusted, and she's speaking out against this. Yes, I know Ezekiel Elliott is a multi-millionaire, he's making lots of money, but still, this is an attack on a man's reputation based upon dubious evidence, or basically almost hardly any evidence, and evidence to show that he may be innocent and that the woman is a lying bitch. So, yeah, I think people need to stand up for this, and I am personally disgusted at this.
Jerry Jones, the owner, long known for backing certain players who found themselves in trouble. What was his reaction when the suspension came down?
Furious. I think he's been very upset and bothered all along. Look, he went through the NFL's 100-plus page report on Ezekiel Elliott, and Jerry Jones did not believe there was any incidents and evidence there of domestic violence.
And of course, Jerry Jones has every right to be mad at this because he personally felt like with many other people who are and aren't Cowboys fans, because I'm not a Cowboys fan, and I personally think, given the evidence and discussions that keep happening, that he seems innocent, and he didn't do it, in my personal opinion, and that this girl is a lying bitch and stuff. And he has every right to be angry because he feels that he's innocent, and the NFL is using all these different dubious evidences and not being absolutely thorough, and he's now been suspended. And he has every right to be angry, especially after all these other incidents that have happened before. So yeah, this is the NFL trying to save his face, and they're doing it going after his organization. So yeah, I totally understand why Jerry Jones is furious, and I think he should be. Because guess what? If he believes that Ezekiel Elliott is innocent, he has every right to be angry. It's called injustice. But of course, people like Shannon Sharp are going to talk about injustice because they're politically correct. Because it's politically incorrect to defend a man against the accusations of a woman when it comes to something like domestic abuse. Because guess what? We live in a feminist society.
Which is exactly what the league found was opposite. That's why the league suspended Elliott 6 games. Jerry Jones now is the wild card in all this, because depending on how the legal process and the appeal process plays itself out, Jerry Jones could interject himself in a way that Robert Kraft wasn't necessarily willing to do in the Deflategate case.
And I think Jerry Jones should interject himself and definitely should sue, because this is absolute bullshit and a very poor handling by the NFL. Because, again, if there wasn't enough evidence to charge Elliott with a crime, and there's evidence to show that his girlfriend or his ex-girlfriend was lying, then, in my opinion, he's innocent, and the NFL is punishing someone for being accused of a crime, which is freaking disgusting. I think most people would be furious if they got fired from their job of being accused of a crime. I'm failing to see why these politically correct assholes are going along with this, are being able to logically rationalize this crap. It's disgusting.
Even with that, how does Jerry Jones and the Cowboys as a whole, how do they view this player?
Listen, I think that they have concerns about Ezekiel Elliott as a person, about the decisions he has made, about some of the behavior that he has demonstrated. You talk to the people in and around the Cowboys organization, and there have been incidents this past year that have involved Ezekiel Elliott that have raised questions. And I think now, with the 6-game suspension, whether or not it stands, whether or not it's delayed, whether or not it's reduced, they have a belief that he could be at a crossroads in his young career where he's going to have to make a decision, look himself in the mirror, and recognize that he's going to have to be smarter about the way he handles himself, or he's going to...
Okay. This is where the video ends because it cuts out for some reason. But, okay. As usual, I'm going to say this. If Ezekiel Elliott was a woman, this wouldn't be an issue. Because Hope Solo committed multiple counts of domestic abuse against like her sister and her nephew, and she still has all her sponsors and is still playing soccer. She's a domestic abuser, and there's actual proof, and it was proven that she committed domestic abuse. No one's talking about it, really. No one's really complaining about it, and this is yet another example of how women are given excuses. I don't care what anyone else says. Domestic abuse is not okay, no matter who does it. But the fact is, in the sports world, women can get away with all sorts of crazy shit. Women can sexually assault guys, sexually assault other women, abuse other men, abuse women, abuse children, and they get away with it. This shows everything wrong with modern day sports. It is getting disgusting. It has gotten even worse thanks to what social media has done with these politically correct assholes. And basically, people's reputations are being ruined by these agenda-pushing ideologues. It's disgusting. Anyway, that's all I want to say. This whole thing has really pissed me off. And, I feel very passionate about these types of subjects because men are being abused by the system thanks to women like Ezekiel Elliott's ex-girlfriend. And, if you liked what you saw here, then hit the like button and subscribe. Anyway, this is Billy Cool signing out.
Tell you something. You know what really grinds my gears? You, America. Fuck you, Diane.